A relentless polar vortex has gripped North America, leaving over 900,000 utility customers in the dark. Driven by severe supply shortages, wholesale spot prices in several regions have rocketed to over $3,000 per megawatt-hour, a staggering 1,400% increase. This extreme weather has also decimated the domestic oil and gas sector. As production plummeted, natural gas futures surged over 25% intraday, further inflating electricity costs. As the freeze ripples through shipping and logistics, U.S. GDP growth for the first quarter now faces a significant downward revision.
The current American energy crisis is not an act of God. It is a policy-driven catastrophe. When Storm Fern struck, hitting 34 states across the country, it did not just bring snow. It exposed a brittle 20th century grid that is increasingly unfit for purpose. With 12% of natural gas capacity frozen in the ground and 15% of crude oil production paralyzed, the US has found itself in the humiliating position of a superpower that cannot guarantee its citizens the most basic requirement of modern life: a stable light switch. Now, contrast this domestic paralysis with the reality across the Pacific. While President Trump stood at the Davos World Economic Forum this week claiming he couldn't find any wind farms in China, he was standing in the shadow of a global industrial titan that has left the United States in its rearview mirror. China has not just manufactured wind turbines, it has built an entire ecological and industrial infrastructure for the next century. As of late 2025, China's wind capacity exceeded 600 million kilowatt, marking 15 consecutive years of global dominance. In 2024 alone, China was responsible for 70% of all new wind installations globally. This is where critique becomes unavoidable. The American leadership is not just wrong, they are burying their own heads in the sand. While Washington engages in boorish rhetoric about the scam of renewables, China is pioneering ultra-high voltage grids that can move clean energy thousands of miles with minimum losses. This is a technology the US has barely begun to deploy at scale.
Recently, the administration abruptly suspended all major offshore wind projects under construction, citing national security risks. This includes the massive coastal Virginia offshore wind project and 4 others along the eastern seaboard. The order has sent shockwaves through the markets. These 5 suspended projects represent 6 gigawatts of capacity, enough to power millions of homes, exposing the irreconcilable contradictions at the heart of U.S. energy strategy.
This is a moment of clarity. The US is no longer seen as a reliable partner or leader in the transition to a low-carbon economy. It is instead seen as a volatile, fossil fuel-dependent hegemon that is retreating into isolationism. The ramifications are clear. The US is choosing to become a bystander in the greatest economic transformation since the Industrial Revolution. By sabotaging the interests of its own citizens through a fragile energy grid and deserting the global community, Washington is ceding the moral and economic high ground.